I'm Dr. Martin Horton-Eddison. I attend today as part of the IDPC delegation, an NGO in consultative status with ECOSOC, but the work I will present today is that of the Global Drug Policy Observatory in Swansea in United Kingdom. We all now live in increasingly digital global society, with many facets of life routinely facilitated or enabled by digital communication technologies. The ongoing pandemic has further embedded and entrenched the digital into the everyday. It is therefore hardly surprising that there is an increase in the use of such technologies to facilitate or enable the illegal trade in scheduled substances. Indeed, both the internet and the trade in drugs are transnational. They are natural and indelible allies. As such, efforts to achieve an entirely drug-free digital world are unlikely to completely succeed. At best, policy and enforcement agents might therefore focus their efforts on reducing the rate of adoption and the rate of innovation of the use of digital technologies for facilitating the drugs trade. Now, the rate of shift from offline to internet-enabled drug transactions has accelerated in recent years as a direct consequence of the existing regulations, policies and law enforcement practices themselves designed to reduce the trade. In particular, the practice of market takedown is highlighted by our research as particularly problematic. Just as taking down unregulated internet pharmacies on the open internet in the 1990s led to the so-called darknet in the 2010s, so too the burgeoning shift from the darknet to encrypted messaging apps is also directly linked to, indeed is likely a response to, the takedown of existing darknet sites. Now, in the absence of any formal policy guidance on dealing with the online trade, takedown continues as the default enforcement approach. Indeed, the most recent World Drug Report has actually adopted takedown as an explicit recommendation for the first time, stating that member states should take down online markets and platforms. This is despite several law enforcement agencies having fed back that the medium and long-term effects of takedown require further research. Well, on that, together with esteemed academic and harm reduction practitioner colleagues, all leading drug crypto market researchers, we highlighted some of the unforeseen consequences of the takedown approach at a side event at CND 63 in March last year. In June of this year, we crystallised the research and identified takedown as a singularly counterproductive problem in our policy brief Drug Crypto Markets in the 2020s. We found that takedown increases the proliferation of darknet markets. We found that takedown catalyses widespread market innovation. And we found that takedown accelerates target hardening across the digital environment. Perhaps most concerningly, takedown was also found to severely impede ongoing and effective harm reduction efforts. And moreover, it actually increases the levels of funding and skills required by law enforcement to police the internet-enabled trade in an exponential fashion with ever-decreasing returns. So, perhaps rather than chasing the impossible and often counterproductive goal of a drug-free internet through takedown, policy guidance that accepts and works with academic research is a key recommendation. Because without constructing policies which move away from blanket takedown, our research suggests that the next decade looks likely to be characterised by a further increase in the adoption of ever more sophisticated and potentially dangerous technologies to enable the global illegal drugs trade. Policymakers and enforcement practitioners might therefore consider a more nuanced approach, away from blanket takedown as the default, retaining takedown as one potential response, and toward a strategy that more efficiently focuses limited human and financial resources only on the most injurious of substances and markets. Such an approach may protect ongoing harm reduction efforts and slow the rate of adoption of novel information and communication technologies for drug-related activities. It may counter some of the negative consequences of takedown, therefore, and at the same time freeing cybercrime specialists to prioritise their efforts not on fairly small, low-level drug dealing, but against more pernicious criminal activities online which require similar skill sets, such as counter-terrorism and counter-child sexual exploitation. To read more of the research, to see the evidence, please do search the Global Drug Policy Observatory's crypto market project for our policy brief entitled Drug Crypto Markets in the 2020s to read more. Delegates, thank you.